Hi, good morning. Welcome to the Fostering Professional Relationships Workshop. My name is Heather Tran, and I'm your student success coach in the Viking Advantage program at Long Beach City College. Today, I would like to begin a conversation with you about how to build and maintain professional connections in college. So, first, I want you to consider what are the different reasons to approach a professional. On one hand, we have asking about a letter grade, which might be a little easier than asking for a letter of recommendation or a job reference, which is on the other end of the scale. So, what are some of the reasons in between that you can approach a professional for? Now, as you continue thinking about those ideas, we will continue to discuss more. What are some reasons? So, what are some topics we can go to a professional about? First, you can build a relationship beyond the classroom. You can try to nurture a mentorship relationship with a professor, a counselor, or student affairs professional. And they can mentor you through college through various aspects, such as if you're interested in their field of study, they can show you the ropes on how to get there. Second, you can ask for exam or homework feedback. This is one of the most common reasons students attend office hours with their professors is that they received the feedback and they would like to know, have more clarification or know more information on how they can improve for their next assignment. Third reason could be receiving academic and emotional support as a result of your own personal barriers and challenges that you're experiencing in your personal life. You can also ask for a letter of recommendation or job reference, like we mentioned earlier. In general, you might need 2 to 3 for a job, so you might want to build connections with more than one professional in that sense. Then you can also ask for job and or research opportunities as well as campus involvement opportunities. Some professionals have knowledge and access to some of these opportunities that can broaden your professional and educational experience. You can also approach a professional about reviewing your resume or cover letter. And if you're interested in their field of study or the job that they're working, you can ask them for an informational interview where you can learn about their background, their current job responsibilities, the necessary requirements to work in their field, and any career and academic tips that they want to provide for someone coming into the field. You can also ask them about conducting mock interviews for you so that you can gain some interview practice before going into a real one. So why is building professional relationships important? First, you can exchange ideas. You can exchange ideas with peers, classmates, professors, anybody that you make a connection with. Once you meet somebody, they can become your colleague. Second, you can practice communication skills together. We want you to know that you're not alone in navigating professional relationships, and we want to encourage you to build those relationships to practice with one another. Second, you can receive support, whether that's academics, major, career, or student support services on campus. You can also learn how to provide support to others. We mentioned mentorship from a professor earlier, but you can also serve as a mentor to your peers and those around you. This also opens up opportunities for jobs, internships, and leadership positions that you otherwise wouldn't have not known if you had not built a connection. So it can broaden your knowledge and experience of different opportunities out there. So who can you build professional relationships with? I briefly mentioned this earlier, but you can build relationships with professors, with counselors, with administrative staff, support services staff, peers and classmates, as well as coworkers and supervisors. And I want to add that you can build a professional relationship with anybody, whether it's on campus, at your jobs, etc. Now, where can you network, right? This can be a common question because you're in different spaces at different times. And something that I want to emphasize is there's always an opportunity to make a professional connection, whether that you're at a coffee shop, you're in class, you're in a counseling session, etc. So First, there's the classroom. You have your professor who's in there, maybe a TA, and there's some classmates as well that you can build a connection with. You can build connections after class, whether that is asking for office hours with your professor, or you can go to, say, the Welcome Center or the Transfer Center and build some connections there. You can build a connection during office hours, like we said, with your professor. You can build connections at your internships and your jobs with your coworkers, supervisors, and your colleagues. You can also build professional connections in clubs or organizations that exist on campus as well as off campus. And social media can be a great platform where you connect not just in the short term, but long term with certain professionals or groups. So, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram are the most common platforms where folks build professional connections with. And basically, you can make a professional connection anywhere where you meet someone who has further knowledge and further contacts that they can connect you with. So here's an example of a Facebook professional group. This one is called Southern California Community College Counselors, Access for All. So this professional group exists for anyone who'd like to become a community college counselor one day. So this group is actually open to all who are open to receiving information about how to become a counselor, but also information about what counselors are talking about right now that can help you in learning more. That also goes with this professional page in terms of empowering first generation college students. So this professional page might be more applicable to you as a student right now, but it's a private group where you can connect with other first generation college students all throughout the nation. So I want to briefly show you all how to utilize LinkedIn. Here I have a preview of my profile. So I'll go ahead and enter into the main website to show you how to join as well as how to sign in. So on the left right-hand side, you'll see the words join now. You will click there and you have to have an email address ready as well as a password, and then you'll just click agree and join. Now, if we were to sign in, we'll click here and I will go ahead and sign in so that you can see what my full profile would look like. So on the home page, it's a feed that looks a lot like Facebook. So it has a messaging feature. People post statuses and news. And then we have the My Network function, which includes connections that are related to you via the school you attend or any companies that you've worked at, as well as any schools you've attended. There's also a job search function where you enter the title, skill, or company, as well as your city, state, or zip code, and they'll show you results based off your profile. Like I said, there's a messaging feature, notifications, as well as viewing your profile. So here I have a professional picture that I got to take at UC Berkeley when I was there for undergrad. I also made sure I listed my first and last name, my current position, which I actually hold two positions, so I just made sure the most recent one is listed. I am also a graduate student at USC in the educational counseling program. So I made sure to list that in my about section, as well as what my working history is and what I am passionate about. So this is good for pitching what you're interested in so that companies can see whether you are a good fit with them. Here is the resume section where you would put your jobs that you currently hold or you have held, and you want to make sure it looks exactly like your resume. And then there's an education section where you list all the schools you've attended as well as the campus organizations and activities that you're involved with. Then there's a volunteer experience section, which you would want to fill out if you do have any volunteer experience, as well as a skills and endorsement section. So here you can list all the different types of skills that you have learned throughout all your jobs, and you and your connections can endorse each other's skills so that companies pay attention to it more. And companies actually find you through these key terms. So it's important to list ones that you know would benefit you in your field of choice. Then there's an accomplishment section where you list any honors and awards that you have received in the past or currently, as well as an interest section where you list companies or businesses that you're interested in following up with and gaining more information about. So that is my profile. And so next we will talk about how do you open the lines of communication with professionals. You want to make an initial introduction by sending an email or a direct message or scheduling an appointment with them in person. You also want to make sure you prepare questions in advance to ask them. And you want to practice social etiquette, whether that is with your peers, your family members, so that you can come into a meeting being confident that you will interact with them respectfully. Next, we have an example of what a letter of recommendation request email would look like. So I wrote this with my colleague Jackie, who's another student success coach. And here I wrote, "Dear Professor Garcia, I hope this email finds you well. I am currently applying for a job and it requires a letter of recommendation. I immediately thought of you since you are familiar with my academic and research experience. May I drop by your office hours later today to discuss this with you? Best regards, Heather Tran." Now, when you look at this email, it looks polished at first. However, it is missing several components. The first component it's missing is your identity. Who are you? So you want to introduce yourself by saying, "My name is Heather Tran. I'm a first year sociology major and I am currently in your English 1A class." So you want to make yourself identifiable. Professors often have more than one class, so you want to make sure you list the class and the time that the class is held as well. If you're addressing a counselor, you do want to mention your major and the year that you're in. And the second component that this email is missing is a thank you. So after you ask, "May I drop by your office hours later today?" you want to say, "Thank you so much for your time," or "Thank you for your consideration," and then sign it. So you can practice writing these emails at home, and you can consider these reasons and draft an email for each one of them. The first prompt is you need a letter of recommendation. The second prompt is you have questions about a grade or feedback on a paper. Third prompt is you want to get to know the counselor's educational and professional background. Fourth prompt is you need emotional and academic support. Then you want to know about research and job opportunities, and you would like to know more about campus resources. So you can practice 1, 2, 3, or maybe all of them. That way you can be confident in sending a real email. So here is a networking opportunity that became a successful connection for me as I was applying for graduate school. So in fall 2018, I had applied, and the biggest concern I had was, how do I afford this graduate program? Personally, I am a first generation low income student, and I knew that it was going to be difficult to pay for USC's tuition. So what I did was I spoke to the director of admissions and scholarships. Her name's Leanna. And I expressed to her my financial concerns and asked her about the scholarships or job opportunities that could help fund my graduate tuition. And because I was vulnerable with her and open with her, she kept me in mind. So by spring 2019, she connected me to scholarships and job opportunities to interview for. And so I was able to interview for 4 graduate internships, and I was able to apply to several scholarships. I was able to receive job offers for all 4 internships, and I ended up choosing the engineering student services job, as well as receiving 2 big scholarships that currently funds my program. And had I not been vulnerable and open with Leanna, I wouldn't have been connected to these opportunities and resources that serve as a huge reason why I'm in the program right now. And next, we have another successful networking opportunity that my colleague Jackie experienced. And so she attended a mandatory workshop on violence prevention. And after that workshop, she spoke to the coordinator to ask about opportunities that they had. And so she attended their peer educator training and then ended up volunteering as a peer educator for one semester. And she was able to hear about their paid internship opportunity and to apply and to get hired. So if she did not speak to the coordinator after that workshop, she wouldn't have landed in the job that she ended up working as. So here's a little map that you can use to practice. I know that some goals can take more than 5 circles or 5 steps, so feel free to modify this accordingly to what your long-term goal is. But the most important thing is to identify the first step, as well as a second step and third step and fourth step and on. So you just want to be really specific, as well as identify creative steps that you probably did not think of before that you can take, and it could really change your trajectory. So, what if a professor or another professional don't respond well? This can happen. It can be common, it can be disappointing, it can be hurtful, and it can be confusing. So, we want to be able to guide you through that. So, some steps you can take is first, you want to thank them for their time. Then you want to get another trusted professional's feedback. So, whether that be counselors, professors, administrators, your parents, older siblings, your best friends, etc. They can provide an alternative perspective or response to your situation and guide you accordingly. You also want to practice self care. Self care can look different for everyone, but here are some suggestions. We have deep breathing, we have mindfulness, which is observing the present, whether that's observing what's happening in your body, how your breath is moving, etc. And you also may want to share with a loved one. Sometimes that can help in coping through a certain process. And you can also exercise as well. Remember that you have other connections to ask. Don't give up. So, the biggest advice that I was given as an undergraduate student was to never say no for someone else. So, even if you know a professor or a counselor for only a month, don't say no for them. Take the risk of drafting that email and sending it, and you never know what response you will get. So, how can we do this together? We want to support one another because we're not each other's competition. And that's because building professional relationships and learning what professional etiquette looks like actually takes your whole lifetime. And it is a lifelong journey. So we want to be able to be there for one another, to support one another, and to grow and develop each other's professional skills and to provide emotional support when it doesn't go right. So, at Long Beach City College, we have the Career Center, which can help you explore career interests and learn about what degree programs are right for you. You can work with a career counselor who will assess your strengths, your skills, interests, and accomplishments to help you identify which internship opportunities and career goals that match your educational and professional needs. They also provide other services such as career exploration classes, job fairs, and workshops to help you prepare your resume and to develop your job search and interview skills. So they also provide one-on-one direct career coaching. They can connect you to internships as well as federal work study. They have Road Trip Nation as well as other career resources that you can find on the link below. So our contact information for student success coaches at Long Beach City College is located on this slide. We are personally located at the Welcome Center when we're working in person. However, since we are working remotely, feel free to contact us through our email addresses here. Again, my name is Heather, and the other 5 coaches are Jackie, Cassandra, Alice, Samantha, and Claudia. So we want to remind you that we are here for you. We want to support you as best as we can. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a great rest of your semester.